All right, so hey, black women. Taking a little lay down rest, cooking the dog's food, watching something on Lifetime. I also just stopped perusing YouTube. So I came across a video of Pretty Black Magic talking about the census and the median income for black people versus other households. And the numbers look like for black people, black households, 18,000 versus 140,000. Now, I gotta tell you, right, and understand where I'm coming from, okay? Those numbers are not correct. And I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, if anyone understands how the census works, it works like this. People have to actually participate in the census in order for them to get any I was just quickly watching the news. Channel 7 was covering this new scam they got going on with Venmo, with stealing people's money from their accounts. So they're trying to warn people that with the upcoming holidays, and just not to use it until they fix it to where they can't take advantage of that glitch. They're also doing the same thing on Facebook. So y'all be careful about that. Don't send money through Venmo, Facebook. Be careful with PayPal, even though I use PayPal like all the time. Be careful with that shit, because they're people are hacking the PayPal on Facebook. Facebook is already aware of it, so they're trying to go through their program to make it hack proof and to get back some of the money and stuff that they took from some of the subscribers, right? But just be careful. Be careful of Facebook sending any money through that, and be careful of Venmo, okay? Be very careful. And the reason they were probably doing that on Facebook is because they were exploiting the marketplace feature, all right? Because even me, somebody tried to take advantage of me because I had to buy a new car, right? My Land Rover broke. The computer it got water damage because the sunroof was leaking water every time it rained, unknown to me, through the car down to the engine. Fucked up everything. Fucked up the computer. Tried to get it fixed. They worked on it. They got it working halfway, and then it stopped. Anybody who knows anything about water damage on a car, it's lots of money, lots of work. It's not worth it. So I had to buy a new car. So right now I gotta donate that car. I'm gonna donate it to the veterans, something to help the veterans. I took the number the other day, and then I'll go get my new car, and that's that. But the reason I brought that up is because I was looking on Facebook to buy an older version of my Land Rover, and the person was playing games. Like, they made it pretend like they were selling a car, but they weren't. It was like they were trying to get me to take over their finance payments or some shit like that. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. So, you know, you got to be careful, all these people with these scams and etc. Because they're all out here scamming people instead of getting themselves on the right foot in life, getting their proper money together, living life the way that you're supposed to, and stop living these fucking derelict struggle love lives, and they be all right. So I want to talk about that today. Okay. Oh, the news is going off tonight in Long Island, in Bayshore, Long Island, right? Bayshore Union Free School District. They just arrested this teacher for molesting children. Like, what is going? And this dude looks so disgusting. It's crazy. They said, oh, he was retired. So I'll get that later. Retired school teacher faces sex abuse charges on Long Island, and he looks like a pervert. He looks like a pervert with the weird coat and everything. Anyway, I gotta stop watching this to talk to y'all. That's New York. That's Bayshore, Suffolk County. Bayshore, Long Island Bayshore is in Suffolk County. So that's far away from me in Queens, New York. But it's just crazy. They said he was so fucked up. They set his bond at $600,000 for sexually abusing students. That means that he was fucking these kids. Ugh, let me get back to y'all, because I'm gonna keep, oh my goodness, it's just so much. So anyway, I'm trying not to stare at that because it's still going while I'm trying to talk to y'all, and I see it out of my peripheral view. And now they got the neighbors and stuff like that talking about how fucked up it is. Okay, so anyway, the reason I brought that up is because people are always scamming and trying to play games with you, trying to get instant money, where if you have your life set up, you don't have to do shit like that. So that's what I want to talk about. So in that same video, that Pretty Black Magic we're talking about, right, with the census and the $18,000 a year versus 140, when I know those numbers are wrong, is because if you have to volunteer for the census. It's not like they count. The reason I know the number is wrong is because everybody is not counted in the census. It's only the people who participate in the census is counted. So if it's 20, let's just make up numbers. If it's 20, yeah, the girl's father. Oh God, let me stop it. So if it's 20 people, let's say, that's supposed to take the census survey, right? But only 10 people take it, okay? They only have half of the information, okay? So that's why I know that number's wrong. Secondly, the numbers that they're talking about, like 18,000 a year per family versus, and they're exaggerating on the other side with that 140,000. They're exaggerating because and the reason I know this to be a fact is that if you go to the Occupational Outlook Handbook or any of those websites or those apps that show you the salaries of different jobs, I can't think of one job that comes to mind right now that starts out at 140,000 that like everyday people have. I'm not talking about bank managers and hedge fund managers. They make that plus more, right? But like everyday stuff, there's no job I could think of that starts out with that as the starting salary. Work up to that salary, middle salary, yes, right? So my point is this. When they're talking about $18,000, right? You're talking about people who are on welfare, who are working in. The reason why they upset about that thing, and it would happen in Times Square, so I just seen that they was fucking up the cops. Okay, anyway, let me just stop watching TV while I'm talking to y'all. That was ridiculous. They was rolling all over the street. Some Hispanic dudes, thank God it wasn't black people, but a whole bunch of Hispanic dudes fighting the cops on 42nd Street. That's why the mayor's upset. I was wondering why the mayor was upset, because they fucked the cops up literally. They was literally dragging them on the street. Like dragging them by their collar and shit, beating them and shit, wrestling. Those people went to wrestling in high school because they grabbed the dude's neck and was spiraling behind him, and behind him, like grabbed him, was spiraling. It's like when you spread your legs really wide, like as to a little wider than a 90-degree angle, and then you keep moving back and you keep going counterclockwise or clockwise with your body in that low sprawl position, so that the person cannot use gravity to their advantage and they can't get up. Only thing they do is stay down. So that person who was doing that, they either know martial arts or they did wrestling in school, because that was 100% grappling move. So I'm just watching that and I'm like, are they fucking him up? Because he doesn't know how to get out of that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So which is why black women, you need to learn mixed martial arts, wrestling, or some form of physical fighting, self-defense. Like me, in March, I'm thinking of taking a American Kendo karate class, because I found that to be, I'm fascinated with knives, right? So I want to learn how to use the katana. So since they use the katana in that art of fighting, I was like, I want to try that. So anyway, I got this motherfucker. He just tried to push that lady into the train tracks. Okay, I got to stop watching. Oh my God. Too much. I got to stop watching. Anyway, so the 18,000 is complete poverty. Because in New York, right, in New York City, New York State as a whole, there are poverty lines based off of income. Now, 18,000 is the poverty line for everybody receiving social services. Meaning if you receive welfare of any kind only as your main source of income, or if you receive SSI, which is Social Security Supplemental Income, which usually comes along with welfare, or if you're receiving a pension, or if you're receiving Social Security benefits on a whole, survivors benefits included, spousal benefits, and also Social Security disability benefits. Okay, that's where you're going to be the type of people coming in with that $18,000 a month, or maybe a little more. But the poverty line in New York is, I think it's $28,000. So if you're working and you're making at or below $28,000, you qualify for everything with a job. You qualify for free health care, Medicaid, that is health care, Medicaid, food stamps, and cash. Now, if you're making that amount, you go a little bit above, let's say like 30, 35, you still will qualify for those services, but they will be severely reduced, right? And also here in New York City, when your money is less than $30,000, you go to school for free, because you're going to get TAP, which is going to be 100%, and Pell Pell Grant will also be 100% finance, because you don't make no money. So the reason I'm saying this is because, yes, I know that we like to stress with all good conscience, right? We like to stress that if you don't take education seriously, being a black woman living in America, coming from these neighborhoods of impoverished people, if you don't take education serious, you don't get a decent paying job, it's hard to get out of poverty, because America stacks the chips against you. And not only do they do it in the sense of like keeping you from getting good jobs, they do shit like trying to keep you from pulling yourself up in life, from having a good job, because they take shit away from you, like the Fearless Fund. Now, you remember that when that same dude, what's his name, Edward Bloom or some shit like that, he's the attorney that sued to get rid of affirmative action. He's also the same attorney that sued to stop the Fearless Fund, which was a grant fund to help black women only start businesses, which would let them get out of poverty, let them own homes, let them start businesses, go to college, etc., right? Buy property. All of these things America does to keep you impoverished. Because if this country was really about democracy and trying to really let anybody who comes here, the way they try to brainwash these foreigners and make them believe that when you come to America, anything is possible, that's definitely not true. Okay? And so, because of all of that, and the fact that if they put stuff on television enough, they put it in videos enough, and they say it enough, you tend to believe it, which is psychologically defeating, because that shit is mostly untrue. The same thing with like this $18,000 a year living. Collectively, when you think about if you could, according to the census, count everybody's income, add it all, because that's how you find the median income. You add everybody's money all up, and then you count the individual people that made the sum total of that amount, and then you divide the sum total of the people into the sum total, and that gives you the median. So there's no way in the world, if you are counting all these people's incomes who are going to have various incomes, not unless you're only going after the people that are making the smallest income possible, are you going to get a number like that? It's either completely impossible when you're talking about everybody included in all demographics and socioeconomics, right? That's $18,000 is completely impossible. But if you're only counting people who work in fast food stores or fast food industry, retail industry on the low end, because remember, retail also has a very high end that makes thousands of dollars, and they make more money than people with degrees, but most people are not in high end, right? So unless they're doing it where they're only calculating and counting the money of people who are making less than $30,000, that's the only way you're going to come up with a medium income yearly for $18,000, because it's impossible. Like if you take my household alone, right? My household is just under $100,000. That's me on one person. If you take mine and everybody that lives around me who has homes, right? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Those people, because there's more than one person in that household with a job, right? So collectively, they probably make anywhere from 100 to 120,000 with combined income. So when you take, this is how the median works, right? So if you take their income for one house plus my income, right? And I'll round mine off to an even 100,000, right? So you got 220,000 and you divide it by 2. That's way more than $18,000. It is, because that's already 220. So you already see, like, that's not how it goes. And it's not, the numbers are not real. If you're going to do it if you're going to factor in all the black people of America nationwide, and then you're going to add the incomes and go for the medium, it's going to be way over $18,000. It is. Okay? But if you only are going to factor in people who are on public assistance where their income for the year may be less than $10,000 because they give them so little, if you want to factor all of them, yeah, you may get 18,000. You may even get less. But everyday working people who are working like any type of job where they're making 40,000 or more, that's not going to be the base medium income. And I'm telling you that as a matter of fact, not try to shit on the information, but I want you to understand that sometimes when you're looking at information and you're seeing things that are addressed to black people, white people in white America in this country, they do it to fuck with your psyche, to also mess with your head, to make you think that you have no way out so that you stay down, okay? I'm just trying to let you know that those numbers are not correct. They're not. Even though they come from the census, it's only the census of the people who took the census and submitted their survey. It was not everybody. Because I know for a fact myself, I never fill out the census. When they put that shit under my door, I put it right in the garbage. Should I do that? No. You know why? Because I know that when they count what I say on the census, it adds to my senator, my congressman, my council person, right? Putting money into programs and different things that are needed in my community. So that's what the census is supposed to be for. But most people don't really care about the census because there have been so many times when the census was thrown out, they weren't fairly counted. Like the very last time when you guys' boy Trump was in office as president, he literally threw out millions of surveys from the black and Hispanic communities because he did not want to put the money into those communities. And that was national news, made a whole big hoopla about it. If you don't believe me, Google it, right? So many people, including myself, who saw that, you know, we felt some type of way about it. And when the census did come around, because it only comes around like every 4 years, I didn't fill it out because I said, what's the use? They're only going to throw my shit away or not really count my numbers because they don't want to give money back into my community. They just want to take money out of it. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention about that part, and also tell you that when it comes to like the generational wealth part too, like Felicia Rashad said in the video of Pretty Black Magics, it's true. Black generational wealth is not new to black people. Matter of fact, it's been lost because I don't know where the disconnect happened with black people and them being financially frugal with their money stopped in America, but like my grandparents and the people who grew up around them, they didn't play with no money, man. They did not play with no money. They was always saving. They always had money. Matter of fact, they were the only ones that I remember having like big money, right? So I don't understand. Maybe it was my parents' generation where they fucked up the money, but the way that people are now, black people never used to be like that. We always had money stashed somewhere. Because we always had to like leave where we were staying because the white people were so hostile, always trying to kill us, never giving us a peaceful, restful place to be. So we had to always have money to get up and go and start over again someplace else whenever these people got too violent. You know? And it wasn't like we wasn't fighting back, but shit, you gonna fight the whole town every fucking day? Nah. So, I don't know what happened, but it is something that can easily be obtained with things to do that, where if you just learn them, it's simple things that will make your life so much easier. Like today, in dealing with, I'm going back to my personal business again, in dealing with that car I just bought, right? I didn't estimate for a couple of more fees that had to be done with the DMV, right? So once I got that done, I had to transfer another $1,000 into my account, my checkings account, that I didn't want to do because I always like to save money, right? So as I did that, I happened to be perusing through, you know, my account details, and I saw that for this month alone, that same high yield checkings account, it made $81 in interest off of a certain amount of money I had put in there this month, right? So when I'm telling you guys, get a high yielding checking account, get a high yielding savings account. Me personally, I use my Savings Direct. It's not as bougie as some of the other ones, but they have 5% interest rates on their CD accounts. They have 5% on almost all of them, right? There's other banks that have higher. I'm still trying to find one that gives me 7%. So far, I have been shit out of luck, but I'm going to still keep looking. But the fact of the matter is, remember I told you, if you keep putting money into those accounts, all right, you're going to get that fucking interest. And by the end of the year, believe it or not, you can have like $1,000 or more in interest already put into your account. So this is why you're supposed to have them. And when you have them, it's not like you never touch the money, because you can touch the money. Like, I don't usually go into that account unless I'm doing something big, like what I did. I needed a car, so I had to go into that account and get some money out. I used the money, but I have to put it back. But the money I had in there, I was able to get big interest back on it because it's big money in there. All right. So anyway, that's sort of the stuff that goes down the road of generational wealth. You have to be doing the things to bring in money. First off, you gotta have a job that makes decent money. Like, and it's no shame in your game. Even if you have a job that only makes like $40,000, $50,000, right? No problem, right? Or even 60, whatever. Save, right? Save anywhere from $250 to $500 to $1,000 a month, and just keep putting that shit. Like, I break mine up. I put a certain amount of hundreds of dollars in the checkings high yielding account. I put another few $100s in the savings account, and I do that every month without fail, right? Okay. At the end of the year, when I look through my statement or I look through my account details, I see the interest going into that account. $81, $127. It depends on how much money. That's a good amount of interest, because usually if you get a typical bank account, you're only going to get like 3%, and sometimes you may see a few dollars added onto your money. You understand? So that's why the basic or lowest amount you can have in a high yield savings account is like $2,000. You go open it with $1,000, but you should put another 1,000 in there quickly, so that by the end of the year, as each month you're putting in like $250 up to $500 a month, you'll be getting equivalent to me, almost $100 in interest back into your account, so that by the end of a 12-month cycle, you would have gotten $1,000 back from the bank in interest alone. Now, if you put in money all the time, as much money as you put in, you're going to be guaranteed a certain level of interest, no matter what. So if you put in money, you're going to know that if I put in money, I'm going to get back interest. I put in money, I'm going to get back interest. That's how you do. And as your bank account grows, then you sit down with your banker, make an appointment. And with the bank I have, you can make appointments by the computer to just walk in and do your business. So you can make an appointment to sit down with your banker and learn how to grow your money even further. I do that as well, okay? Because there's always shit going on at the bank that they don't publicize or readily talk about in commercials or put posters up in the bank for you to know it right away. Sometimes it really helps you to sit down and go, all right, I want to come in and I want to talk about growing $10,000 of my money into possibly $20,000. How do I do that? They'll talk to you about everything. And you don't have to be that high. You could be 5,000 into 10,000, 2,000 into 5,000. You have to just talk to these people and they will let you know what your best option is. That's one of the fastest way to get on your way to generational wealth. Because here's the key. In order for you to buy a home, start a business, open up anything, do anything, you need a decent level of credit. Now, yes, am I going to say that there aren't programs out there that take people with bad credit and they could do just the same? I'm not going to tell you that, because it's true. There are tons of programs out there that will let you do everything the same with a horrible fucking credit score, as long as it's above 640, right? It's just they're going to charge you a whole hell of a lot more. If you don't mind paying the extra money, do your thing. But I personally think it's better for you to have as high of a credit rate or credit score as possible, because then it opens you up to like huge lines of credit, so that if you ever need it, you have it. And that huge line of credit could take care of many different things in your life, really. So that's one thing to think about. Then the second thing to think about that is like the most important is when you're in, young women, when you're in school, it's not enough just to get a degree. You have to literally sit down with an admissions counselor or guidance counselor, your parents, somebody you can trust, or you and maybe like an older person you know that's already in college doing well, and you sit down and you go over all the occupations in America. Go on the United States occupational handbook. I forget exactly the name of it, but it is, and there's other websites as well to find out what every single title of employment is for a job or for a career is in America. But it's in that occupational handbook, called Occupational Outlook Handbook, something like that. But it's there, and it will tell you how much the job is supposed to make, what are the requirements, what the job does, what kind of background of education you need. Those are the type of things that you need to always be looking at, be involved in, so that when you go to look for a career, right, that's going to pay you close to $100,000 and over $100,000 in life to live, you know which jobs to go for. Personally, engineering of any kind is always good money, Black women. And then you also have to look for grants that are geared towards Black women in engineering, women in engineering, and underrepresented and underserved women. You type in those type of keywords into different grants for different fields that you're looking for, whether it is engineering, architecture, what else? Science, like if you want to do research, or you want to be a pathologist, whatever it is. You have to look all those key terms up, look for all the grants, all the programs for it, all of the different associations for it, so you can get a mentor. Like if you want to be an engineer, you want to look up the Black Women's Association of Engineering. And then you would call or write, email, however they want you to contact them, and ask for a mentoring program if they have one, so you can have somebody literally walk you through to success. And you don't just do that with that. You can do that with other vocational fields like heating, plumbing, electrical, etc., right? Cooling, etc. HVAC is what they call it. But anyway, these are the things that when you get into those type of fields, because these are industries that are in demand no matter what. They're in demand whether we got inflation, don't have inflation, they're in demand. As long as we got people on the face of the earth, those fields are always in demand, okay? So you're going to always make money. So when they were showing the portion in her video where they were speaking about the little black girl in foster care going into mechanical engineering, that's good. That is AKA robotics. Now, robotics is wonderful. It's the future, it's the present, and it's the past. Robotics is used for everything. Most importantly, the thing that comes to my mind, because I have a couple of things that helped me when my knee acts up, because I had a full knee replacement. Robotics is like something that all disabled people use. Mostly all handicapped people, all people who are temporarily handicapped, people who are pregnant, people who are this, that, suffering from an injury, recovering from surgery. Robotics is used every day all over the place. But I'm just talking about the person right now. I know it's used in other ways, right? Most of the ways it's used in other ways is robotics when it comes to coordinating with other machines to make like different things in life, motorized wheelchairs, the lifts, different ramps. You know how when you get on the bus and the bus extends itself to let wheelchairs come on and then closes itself up? That's all robotics. That's all mechanical engineering and all that type of stuff and more, right? Supplements to elevators, different parts to escalators, anything where mechanics is used to make something go up or down, expand or close. That's basically the whole like world of mechanical engineering. You are trying to accomplish something, an end goal. You're trying to accomplish a task, and mechanical engineering is going to allow you to do that. If I can't walk up the stairs, you as a mechanical engineer, you're going to create something, either a chair, something for me to stand on, something for me to sit on, something for me to lie down on to take me up those stairs. So I want you to just understand, that's why I was just giving you all of those insane expanded definitions and examples, because all of that kind of stuff is important. So when this country is talking about the pay gap, the earning wage gap, the digital divide, etc., all of those things can really be conquered or further challenged overnight. Because if Black people would just get back to the collective way of doing things and helping one another, and I'm not by no means talking about that bullshit I recently saw with Dr. Umar, talking about how Black women are supposed to be helping Black males with that helpmate shit, and trying to shame Black women because Black women are not worried about taking care of them financially, only caring about themselves and their children, and ostracizing those Black males. I am in no way talking about that or trying to get you to jump on board in doing that. I'm talking about strictly yourself and your kids, right? Like if you're a woman of a certain age like me and you have grown children and your children live with you and you guys are able to buy a huge house or a 2-family house where you know that all of y'all are in that unit, you're taking care of the bills together, you're taking care of the mortgage together, you're growing your credit, you're growing your line of credit, you're growing the fact that you own this home and you're able to like dominate this mortgage, and then you're able to buy land and do other things you have to do in order to maintain wealth. That is what you do to further enhance on this road of generational wealth. You have to come together to make money and educate yourselves individually to make money. That's all it is. Oh, the three black people that got killed in that drone attack. And let me tell you something. My son is deployed right now. He's overseas as well. And when I heard that, I got so nervous and I got so upset. And I was so happy it wasn't my child. But to hear and see these other black women whose children have been killed, it was 3. It was 2 women and a guy. They got killed. I feel so bad for them. I feel bad for all of those mothers and fathers, because when you send your child to defend the country, in the kind of like in the front of your brain, I know I'm very proud, right, that my son is protecting. I'm just proud. Other black people, they have their issues with the fact that black people don't have no place in the military. I respect that. However, because my grandfather was a military man, my father was, I have a different outlook, and I understand what those people go through and the things that they do to make, all right, freaking Amazon at the door. Let me stop here. I'm gonna come right back. Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to get the door. So, yeah, I feel differently. So, I'm very proudful that my son does that and my daughter-in-law, but I just want them to be safe, because you never want to get that call or anything to say something that's happened to your child. And the reason that story touched me is because when I got home today, I got a postcard from the military telling me the new location that my son had went to. And it was giving me the instructions to let me know how to contact his particular unit and the military in case of a family emergency where I need him to try to come back home or something like that. So when I saw that coverage just now, it just kind of like tugged at my emotions, because I remember, all of the feelings I have, like when he's here and I know he's home and I could reach out to him any moment, anytime. And then when he's gone and I literally have no access to him, because when those people are with the military, they're literally with the military. Unless they call you, it's not like you could pick up the phone and call them and be like, hey, what's going on? No. So, it's good. But the people that work there, they do their job, because when they move from place to place, like my son just went to another location where he wasn't before, they let you know. Like they'll tell you, okay, they write the postcard to you, put your name on it, and then they'll tell you, like, they'll write as if they are your person. They'll say, oh, I'm just reaching out to let you know that I'm already at such and such a place and I left such and such. And, they do that. They just do that as a courtesy to like kind of let you know your people are okay. Unless your people are in like a program or a unit where they're there all the time, no matter what, then you know where they are. And there's other ways of contacting them, but you never can call them like directly, unless, they're calling you, because sometimes they're active, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're in an unfriendly environment, hostile environment, you don't know, and phone calls can be extremely dangerous, all that shit. So there's no like, oh, I'll just call him tonight in a few minutes. It's none of that shit. So when I saw that, I just got very upset, because I could feel, what those people felt, like how their heart would drop when the military contacts you about your person. Look, there right here it says attack blamed on this Islamic resistance group, and they have the 3 American soldiers that were killed in that drone attack. It's sad. They were in Iraq, and my son was there for a little while. And long time ago, when the first thing started with the Iran Contra thing, whatever it was, my husband was there. That was like in 84? 84 or 94. One of them, I can't remember. It was one of them, either 84 or 94. But my husband was actually over there in the first one. And I remember them. I remember getting all that stuff from them and them letting me know where he was at. And I think they had got lost one time. And it was so scary. And they were like sending us letters and letting us know that they had the people looking for them and whatnot. Anyway, let me stop talking about all that. But let me tell you something. It's scary. And I feel for the parents that they're showing now that lost their daughter. Her name was Sean Saunders. They're showing her right now. It breaks you. It literally breaks you. It really does, because you're always expecting your kid to come home. Like even me, like whenever I know he's on his way home, I'm always picking him up at the airport because I want to make sure he's like there, you know? So I have to control myself because I'm getting emotional watching these parents break down about their child. Oh, sad. Because I know they're talking to the military because they always send them to you. Sad. Because I had an uncle that died in duty. And we was all, I remember as a little girl, we was all playing in the backyard and stuff and having a good time. Music blasting. American Creole flying through the air and everything. And you know, people running, little kids running, jumping, skipping, playing, grown people making plates, eating food, drinking and carrying on. And then next thing you know, we see this big black truck drive up into the driveway, and we see the military people jump out 2 at a time on each side, and everybody's heart just dropped. And then I saw like my grand aunt and her uncle walk towards the officers that was walking down the driveway, and you know, they put their hand over their heart the way they do, and they say, with our deepest condolences, ma'am. And then they start talking and just bust out all types of crying, yelling, and wailing, all over heartbreak. I was a little girl, but I'll never forget that. They came and then they give you the flag and everything, and it's like you're so broken. But when they do the funeral, it makes you feel good because they give you the salute, you know, and it's real military people come. It's just, but it's a lot. It's a lot to swallow. A lot. And you know, I know they have shows where they talk about, you know, army wives and all this, but it's nothing like being a military person's mother. Like, that's your child, the person that literally is an extension of yourself in this world. And I would never want any of them coming to tell me that I'm never going to see my kid again. I would just break apart. I literally would. Yes, I worry. I'm worrying now. When I got that postcard today, I was like, oh, he went to another place. Good. I'm glad it wasn't nothing to make me fall down where I stand and possibly have a fucking fatal heart attack. Because I'm such a fucking, like, gushy person when it comes to my kids. Like, but anyway, listen. So, young women, in order to get out of this whole poverty thing, you have to just understand that it's all about money. This whole country is about money. This is a capitalist country. Capitalism is king here. So if you want to make it, you got to be making money. And you can't be worrying about relationships. You can't take that type of shit to heart. You cannot allow another grown person to weigh you down. And then at that point, right now I'm talking about black males. I know you will have all types of people that who are given a reputation of being so intelligent, and when they talk, the earth shatters and shakes. Talk about Dr. Umar and etc. But it's not true. Whenever someone's trying to convince you that you are supposed to be someone to safeguard another full-grown adult who does not take care of the same opportunities you are given, or even take care of themselves to the point where they respect and obtain the education needed to make it in this world, it's not your job to try to be there and to literally hold them and cradle them on your hip or in your arms or sit them on your lap the way you would do your child, your small child, because these are grown-ass black males. So I do get offended because I did see a few of those videos that Umar had on his channel, not King Kong Consciousness, but the other one, the Pan-African, the something Pan-African, whatever it is, the King of Pan-Africa, some shit like that. He has more than one channel. So when I was on that Pan-African one, right, he was doing this whole speech about how black women, trying to basically shame and blame black people, black women, into helping black males. Like, you know how they always doing that shit about the helpmate, right? So he was doing a whole speech about how we should know our place, and our place is to help black males with their economic journey and this, that, and no, it's not. Because why is it that he never preaches about any of their responsibility to help black women on their economic journey? Like, whenever he talks, he's supposed to be this person of great reputation, where, you know, he speaks about everything so intelligently, but yet he really speaks as if he is a manosphere hotep, because everything he talks about is to benefit the black male, never to help the black woman, and that the black woman is always supposed to lower herself to raise up the black male. And you should not be doing that. You should not be doing that ever. Ever. We all come from the same households. In my household, it was 6 of us. It was 3 girls and 3 boys. The 3 girls were educated and we went to school. Those black boys, they were given the same opportunity. If they decided not to graduate from high school and not to, viciously go after education and to build themselves in society, that's not black women's fault. That's not our parents' fault. That's their fault. Because they have the same level of obligation that I did and my sisters had to make sure that we got to school, we got an education, and we pursued higher education. So when you have all these people trying to make it seem like black males are stunted and their opportunity is not the same as black women's, that's a crock of shit. Because we all come out of the same communities, environments, households, situations, and the same resilience that black women have and to get up and go. If those black males don't have it and they don't want it and they don't go to seek it, that doesn't have shit to do with us. And black women and little girls are not responsible for making sure that these guys are economically right or made whole in society, because that's not your job. That's not your job. And the reason I'm trying to push that message is because even in that report that I saw from Pretty Black Magic's video, that report that was being done by the news station, they were trying to push that message as well, that black women are supposed to help them. No, we're not. White women don't help white men make money. Hispanic women don't help Hispanic men, and Asian women don't help Asian men. Everybody's grown. They go out and get and make their own money the way they're supposed to. This whole belief that black women are the super social workers for every black male in the world is not true, and it's not going to be some shit or shoes I step into, and you shouldn't want to do that either. So when it comes to setting up generational wealth, do not let these people fool you and make you think that it's something so unattainable. All it is simply making money, the most money you can in your lifetime, so that you have money to save and or invest, because you don't have to invest unless you want to. But if you do invest and you learn to do it well and you make a lot of money, beautiful for you. But the whole point is to save and to have insurance so that when you pass away, your children, your family, whoever you send your give your money to, is put in a better financial situation than they were before. And then they in turn do that for the next generation and the next generation and the next, until there is a generation born where they are fully prepared with money and do not have to work until they want to or need to. And the need should never come, because if you get everything set up where people are generationally wealthy, they work because they want to, and to continue the legacy and to continue the dowry of wealth. So, you know, it's not like it's unobtainable, because whenever they do those stories on poverty and the black family, they always never just make it come down to the real ins and out, do's and don'ts of it. They always try to like put this real mystique around it that makes people feel like, oh, wow, you know, I have no way of ever doing that in my life because I just don't have it to do that with. Yeah, you do. You do. And it's really not that hard, believe me. What was the other thing I was thinking about when I was watching? Give me 1 second. Let me turn on my lights behind me because it's kind of dull and fuzzy. Hold on. So the other thing I was thinking about, right, when I was watching that video was, what else were they talking about? They were talking about generational wealth. Goddamn. My mind was thinking about the girls going to school, going to college, getting the right degree, right? Because if you go into a field that makes money, you're going to make money regardless, right? Families sticking together to share the wealth and the cost of things so that they could have more money. That costs things. What else was I thinking about? Saving money, we spoke about that. We basically spoke about most things. I don't think I left anything out. The insurance is very important. Like, life insurance is very important, even on little children, because you never know. They might walk out into the street one day and get hit by a car and never come home. God forbid. But it does happen. So insurance is important. I would say to black women, get a cheap insurance policy. You must have more than one. You must have the burial policy or insurance. Have a burial insurance because you got to put people into the ground. That is totally different from life insurance when you get a payout because the person was killed. And you got to be careful with the policies. Your policy has to include every way a person gets killed besides suicide. Because like some insurance companies will get slick and they'll have it in the small print like, we pay out to everybody except maybe AIDS victims or this or that. And they can do crazy shit like that. Or a gunshot wound or something. They have funny things about victims. You have to read all that stuff, know what you're getting into. There are different types of insurance. Look into it. There's ways around them getting out of paying out. So when you get a contract, you want to make sure that you understand everything before you sign it, you agree to it, and you start paying into it. And if shit does not seem right when you're in it, do not hesitate to get out of it. I don't care how much money you lose. Get the fuck out of it. There's supposed to be a portion they pay back to you, but you get all of that understood in the beginning. Like, I just recently got out of a AARP life insurance contract because they started raising my premiums when they had said to me in the beginning that they were not. So as soon as I saw that jump, I said, okay, I no longer want this. You can give me the difference from, you know, the last month, and I'm close this out. And they had to do it. So you have to be careful. None of this stuff is hard. You go on Google, you Google the stuff you want to know. You read about it. You watch videos on it. You need further information. Every single state has a Department of Insurance. You call them. You find out the different things that has to be done by the state. And then you'll learn more than you need to know. They also have videos on YouTube you can look into about all these type of things. But basically what it comes down to is you want to have generational wealth, and just to get out of poverty, you have to make money. You can't be stupid. You can't be working a low wage earning job. You can't have some black male in your house taking advantage of you, your children, and your money, your finances, and your place to stay. These people are usually not contributing, so they don't need to be in your home. Whether they're your boyfriend, somebody you just got into a relationship, or even biologically the children's father. If they're not helping you, really putting money in your pocket, really putting money into that apartment or that home, they don't need to be there. Because you're going to waste more money getting rid of these people and dealing with them while they're there than you will if they were not. So that's the bottom line when it comes to it. If you keep these fucking black males out of your home and out of your life, you will not be in poverty. If you put another black woman in, substitute in for them, if you need them to help you with bills, you'll get further that way. You really would. Especially a black woman that is not black male worshiping and worrying about being in a relationship with them and wanting to have them in their life. As long as that woman is not like that, you're going to be fine. And that's basically all I came to say, because I needed to let you guys know that just because the newspaper says something sometime or the news report, it doesn't absolutely have to be the truth or be 100% correct. Especially when it comes to black people, because white America needs you to feel defeated. It needs you to feel hopeless. It needs you to feel like you have nothing in life, and for you to give into and be okay and comfortable with the low expectations that this country has for black people. They feel like we don't deserve anything. We should never have anything. And if you begin to feel like that and you accept that and you make that part of who you are, they win. I'm never going to do that because I know better. And I also know that everything I see on television or in the news or on a report or in even in a data survey like Brookings or anything else, I know that it is not 100% correct all the time, because if it is always showing me in the negative, it's not correct. Because there's no way in the fucking world one group of people can constantly be in the negative and still be in existence. It is theoretically impossible, and it is actually impossible, okay? It doesn't work like that. If you just delete, diminish, demerit, you're going to go to zero. Zero means non-existent. And that's not the case. So everything that they're saying is not 100% true, and they know it. But they need to work. You know, you guys know I've been taking this UX design, and a lot of this shit that they're teaching me about how they manipulate the viewer, they manipulate the buyer, they manipulate the user. This is a lot of dark psychology they're using on us. And to sit and put a report together from the census saying that all households in the black community make $18,000 as the median income for the whole country is a fucking lie. And then to sit down and leave out the fact that the census information is not for everybody where it's factual. It is partially correct because it's only the information taken from the people who want to do and who have done the survey. In addition to that, there's also the fact that you have presidents that decide that if there are too many people of color who took the survey, they throw them out. Because they always want the amount of blacks and Hispanics and everybody else who are counted, reviewed, and surveyed to be less than whites. To always keep whites on the top and make it look like they're outperforming everyone else, when in a lot of circumstances, when it comes to blacks individually, Hispanics individually, Asians individually, they outperform whites 100 to 1. but they don't want you to see that. They want you to think that you never have a chance or an opportunity so that they can continue to dominate you, rule over you, and control you. And that's why with the information we take in, we always want to think for ourselves and know how to go get the information if we need it. All right? With that, I'm going to say good night. You know, I was just doing my little, when I come in, I do this like decompress thing. And I kind of like woosah it all out before I take my clothes off, start, you know, finish cooking and stuff, and getting to take my dogs out and getting ready to wind down the night before the next day of work. You know, I wanted to talk to y'all about seeing that, because I know, you know, because before I knew all the things I know now, and some of this stuff I know now took me a lifetime to learn. I used to believe a lot of the stuff I heard on face value. And I'm not coming for anybody or trying to discredit any information. I just want you to know that there's always more to the story than what's told, and there's always more information that needs to be expand upon and actually put out there into the story that white America will always neglect, because they want you to constantly think that you don't have nothing, you ain't never going to be nothing, and you don't deserve nothing. And speaking of that, I just want to tell y'all what happened to me today when I had to go to my cardiologist real quick, right? So I go to the cardiologist, they do the EKG, this is all routine stuff. They do the cardiovascular Doppler, right, which is a sonogram of the carotid arteries on the left and the right side of my neck. And this is to look for plaque buildup and blockage of the veins so the blood flows to the heart, and the heart is functioning as strongly and as properly as possible. So they do all of that. I come back good, but here's the thing. So while the sonographer was working on me, there was a newer sonographer over at the desk doing the work in the computer, whatever she was doing, right? So in this particular place where I go, which is in an annex of Mount Sinai, right? I'm laying there on the table, I'm talking to my doctor, and then he conveniently stops talking with me and starts talking to the sonographer that's in the room with us about the one that just left. Now, the one in the room is a white woman. The one that left was a Hispanic woman. He says to the white woman, make sure that you go over her work and make sure that all of her images are spot on, clear. The colors are where they're supposed to be. The veins are more than obvious, and the plaque is obvious, right? And I was just listening to him, and I was listening to what the white woman had to say in response. And I kept thinking to myself, this is the problem in life overall. Like, these white people are so convinced that they're smarter than the whole world. And I couldn't do anything about it because I'm the patient, right? I'm there to make sure my health is correct, right? But I had worked with that woman before, the Hispanic woman, and she was actually better than the white woman in terms of like the care, the customer treatment or patient treatment. And she was more explanatory and spot on when it came to knowing what she was talking about and pointing to on the imaging of the diagram sonogram when I was on the table looking at it on the screen. So I was just looking at that, and I was saying to myself, here we have a situation of two white co-workers trying to sabotage a non-white person because they have to keep white people in power. So I'm telling you that story to let you know that it is not in your head or a conspiracy theory when I'm telling you that, yes, America likes to make you seem like you are inferior and you are incompetent to do anything in life but be a loser. And I'm telling you, you're not. And although there are many overt and subtle things that they do to challenge and insult your intelligence, go on and keep doing what you do, and know that if you want something out of life, you got to work hard to get it, and you're going to continue to fight those white people to keep it, because every time you turn around, they're trying to make the game as unfair as possible. And you know they do it because that's the only way they win. If it was a fair playing field for everyone, they would lose at every chance, because every type of group of people they try to hold down would blow past them with achievements and accomplishments if only everything was fair. If everybody could afford to go to the best fucking schools in this country, some of the people you thought were the stupidest would be the smartest motherfuckers once they were turned on and shown how, shown different things that they never were exposed to before. So they know that. So when you see these studies and reports that come out about just how horribly performing black people are, how horrible and bad they are in life, and they ain't going nowhere, they're just the worst out of everybody and everybody else is better. Don't believe that shit. Don't believe that shit for one motherfucking moment. Are we poor? Yes. Do we have a way out of that shit? You motherfucking bet. Can you do it with your own will and resistance? Yes. Do you have to fight an uphill battle against insane white supremacy, segregation, as well as capitalism built upon you as the way to make profit? You motherfucking right. But can it be done? Absolutely. Absolutely. Out of many, for one. If you all come together and take care of each one at a time, you could do it. E pluribus unum. Okay? E pluribus unum. Out of many, the one. Just do what you got to do. So, listen. Just take that into consideration. I'm not trying to be a joy killer. I just want you to know that whenever reports are done about us and statistics are created, they're always trying to make it as negative as possible. You ever notice that there's never a report or a story or any type of research they do that shows black people in a positive light? Have you ever noticed that? There's a reason why. And I'm going to show you guys. There's a documentary I have to do a video about to show you how imaging and the propaganda of anti-blackness and black hate is real in America. And it is why you see stories like what Pretty Black Magic covered tonight, with the fact that they came out with an entire report based off of the census, which is partial information or even semi-partial information, because we don't even know how many people took the goddamn survey and the survey was actually counted, because it is historically known that there have been presidents to throw out the black and Hispanic surveys that outnumbered the whites, that were more powerful and more productive. So that's just how it goes. And I just want you to know that you can overcome anything in this life. Once you put your mind to it and you put your will to it, you're going to do it. It's just a matter of time. And once you do that, you set something else in your sights. You obtain another goal and you go out and conquer it and do it. And you keep doing that until you have the life you want and everything else that goes with it. And you don't need to listen to people like Shira and anybody else to get there. Just take your time and put one foot in front of the other and conquer one task after the other, and you're going to get there. Have a good night, black women. Be safe, be you, be beautiful, smart, and loved. Night.